Sweet. My name's Nick.
My name's Matty.
Got a brand new record, Complete Collapse, that just came out last Thursday. And we are Sleeping with Sirens. I should have said what band we're in. Sleeping with Sirens.
Beautiful, boys. Thanks for joining us today.
Okay, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Well, so as you say, Sleeping with Sirens released Complete Collapse back on October 14th. So how's the early reception been for it?
It's been amazing. Yeah, not even a week yet. We're playing this tour we're currently doing is a bunch of small venues to celebrate it with our core fan base.
Yep.
And it's safe to say the new songs are going down as favourites better and better every night. So it's been amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So with the album, sort of, what were you going for musically with it? And then did you manage to achieve it?
Yeah, I think that we were just wanting to channel a nostalgic feel to it, kind of going back to our roots, which kind of ties into this little tour that we're doing in support of it. I think we had a vision for the album, and the vision was to just have fun. And that just kind of tapped into subconsciously kind of the nostalgic feel of what we were doing. It was still heavy, still raw, but has kind of little moments that are nods to kind of the earlier Sirens records, while also just being current and again, just like having fun with what we were doing. So I think we were able to achieve that. And it seems like people are really drawn into that and also noticing that. So that's been a really, really cool feeling.
Sweet. And in the lead up, you released the songs Be Happy, Crosses, Let You Down, Control Alt Delete, and the title track. So just say that's all anyone's heard of the album so far. Would you say they're a good sonic representation?
Absolutely. I think that was quite strategic in how we released each song at the time we did. We really wanted to give everyone a good taster. And I would say that it even goes heavier than the singles we've released. With the first song off the track being pretty much Nick and Kellen going between each other, screaming, and it goes into the breakdown. I think that's one of the heaviest songs we've ever released.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, sonically, the singles are definitely a good representation of the record as a whole.
Okay, cool. Sure. So we just touched on that then, but you also had a few guest artists on the album. So I'm just going to run through each track with a guest on it and tell me why that person was chosen and what they contributed. So we'll start with Spencer Chamberlain from Underoath on Crosses.
Yeah, we that was the first song that I personally wrote for the album. And when we were doing it in the studio, we had that moment of like, maybe we should have somebody on this. We were kind of pondering what it was, and we were actually talking about it through text after we had started getting some mixes back. And the first person I brought up was Spencer. I said, this song would be awesome for Spencer. And I think that was like a big influence for Kellen and the rest of us. Like, we are all huge Underoath fans. And we sent it to him with our fingers crossed. And he told us that he literally listened to the song for the first 10 seconds and he was in. He didn't even have to hear the verse. He didn't have to even get to the chorus. He was like, the vibe was already there, and he knew immediately that he wanted to be on it. And that was a very like humbling moment for us, for him to just be so excited to do it. And it was a pleasure having him.
Yeah, cool. Then you got Charlotte Sands on Let You Down.
Yeah, interesting with that one. I had told the band when we started recording in June that we should get Charlotte on a song. And not that everyone was ignoring me, but we finished the record and I kept on bringing up Charlotte, going like, we got to have this girl on the track. And for actually a good while, we weren't going to have any appearances or any guests on the record. And then, things started to change. We're like, oh, this would be cool with this. And then it wasn't until earlier this year, Kellen had been tagged on Twitter that Charlotte was on a podcast, and she was asked who would her dream collaboration be with, and she said our band.
Oh wow.
And so Kellen saw that, and then he texted me and goes, we should get Charlotte on a song. And I was like, I told you this last year, man. Yes. And so I'm glad that it finally happened. It's one of my favorite songs on the record, and Charlotte's just a really beautiful, great human being, like such a sweet soul, and she added such a great vibe to that song.
Cool. And then you got Royal and the Serpent on Be Happy.
Yeah, that was another one where we played emo night with them. It was our first show we had played since the pandemic, and we played at this emo night show in Las Vegas, and they were one of the openers, and I watched them from the balcony, and the first thing I thought was, we gotta have this girl on our record somehow. Like, we have to make this happen. And again, no one was listening to me. And then I think the label had kind of pushed. They were like, hey, like, you guys gotta check out this band. And then Kellen checked it out and was like, oh, she'd be perfect for Be Happy. And I had another moment of, I told you this last year, man. Someone's got to listen to me at some point.
And we're all saying, yeah, sure you did.
You bringing that up. Yeah.
You're going to start writing this down, Nick, when you suggested it, so you got a reference point to go back to and go, see, here's a date, timestamp.
Yep. I know. I got to start timestamping all that shit.
And finally, you got Dorothy on Us. What's the story there?
Yeah, we I think that was somebody that Ash, who's the owner of our label, Sumerian Records, he had brought her name up a few times, and Kellen and I had watched some videos of her, and we're like, this girl is like such a badass. Like, she's just she fronts this fucking badass like rock band, and she's just like, she's kind of like old school, and just has a super, super powerful voice. And we had sent her the song Us, and I remember she sent that back, and we were unsure if we were going to have any more guests on the record. And when we heard hers, we were like, yeah, she just like completely changed this song for the better and just added this really like grandiose like rock vibe to it with her voice, because it's so powerful. And she added a completely new dynamic to the song that made me love it even more. And again, just really happy that she was on it. You know, it would be really cool to perform with her one day and just have her belting that song out on stage with us.
Very cool. And I love the album title too, Complete Collapse. So is that in reference to anything specific, or is it more of a generalization?
I think, you know, Kellen came up with the name, and he also came up with kind of the concept for the album art. And you know, there's definitely a lot of references that kind of lean into what we all went through in the pandemic. And I guess you could look at it from a political and social commentary as well, of, you know, there's so much going on in this world, and sometimes it feels like the world is on fire and like everything is collapsing, but we all just do what we can to live our best. And whether for some it means kind of ignoring it, or maybe for some it's too much to handle, and we as human beings kind of taking on all of this that's going around us, and like, how do we do that? How do we cope with that? How do we get involved? How do we help put out these fires? So it's definitely a commentary on the state of the world, and I think that that's probably been a long-standing kind of feeling even beyond the pandemic. So yeah, that's kind of what's a reference to.
Cool. And you just started a run of shows on the Wee Wee Young Festival. You've just come off Soundcheck just then, actually. So I think you've only had the one show so far, but how's it going?
Well, we in order to celebrate the release, we decided to play a bunch of smaller venues on the way to When We Were Young. So we're in San Diego tonight, playing a 350 cap room. Nice. Oversold, like all the other shows on this tour have been. But yeah, we're on our way to When We Were Young. We hit Vegas this Friday. We've got one more show tomorrow night at Chain Reaction in Anaheim, which is a legendary, iconic venue in itself. So it's been crazy so far. And I think one thing we've been discovering as well is the what's the right word is how well the new songs are doing in smaller venues, and how good they're doing at festivals as well, sonically and reception wise from our fans.
Yeah. So on that note, like you've got all these songs, a couple of them you've released with the guest artists on them. So what do you do when it comes to live with that? Does someone else do their parts, or how do you do that?
Yeah, well, live, Nick and Kellen go between the two of them a lot. Nick covers a lot of things, but in a perfect world, it would line up that all the features are there at every show and that sort of thing. But you just you got to play the song for what it is, and often the crowd takes over as well.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these songs is the loudest I've ever heard Sirens fans singing along to songs. But Kellen does a good job at doing both roles, and
he's great. Yeah.
When the time comes and it all works out, there'll be at least one feature on a set list.
Very cool. What are you up to after this run of shows finishes, guys? You got any plans for the rest of the year? Or are you going to take some time off?
Yeah, so we finished this run. There's actually 2 weekends of festivals in Vegas. We're taking the first half of November off, and then we head to Australia for Good Things Festival.
Nice.
So there'll be at least 3 shows out there for the festivals.
Yep.
And after that, we're aiming to hit all the territories we haven't been to for a couple of years from COVID. And so, we'll be hitting Europe, UK. We've got South America plans, Southeast Asia, and hopefully come back later next year to do an Australian headliner. So we're back on the horse.
Back on the horse. So what can we expect from you at the Good Things shows, guys? You're going to get up to mischief, or you're going to behave yourselves?
Well,
the smile says it all. You don't even have to answer that.
look, I'll be honest. I'm looking forward to having a schooner again. But
bro.
we're just down to get some good coffee, play some amazing festival shows as well. I was just saying to Nick, I haven't returned to Australia with a project I've been a part of in many years. So coming back as Sirens, I'm really proud of it. And I'm proud to bring the Sirens live show to Australia, especially with this new record. And I'm just proud to be, one of our own. So it's gonna be really fun.
So now tell us the truth. You're going to get them all shit-faced, aren't you?
Hey, we're all grown adults. I don't need to baby them.
Fair call. Well, I'll be at the Brisbane show on that one, guys. So I'll have a look into your eyes while we're having a chat, and I'll see which way it went.
Look forward to meeting you in person.
Likewise, guys. Likewise. Thanks for your time today. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you in Australia. And good luck with the rest of the shows.
Hell yeah! Thanks a lot.
We'll see you soon.
Take care, boys.
All right,
see you, mate.